characters in the second season?
Wheel for Grace. We get to see a lot more of her. We see a lot more of her actually out doing the work of being a detective, actually at crime scenes, which is really fun. And you get to see her struggling with her personal life and with her professional life, a little bit more interacting with people that you haven't seen before. It really, it's a, I was saying before, in season 1 we went very broadly to introduce, we went wide to introduce all these different people. And in season 2 now we're going narrower, a bit deeper for each character.
And with Jerry Edgar, you basically get an opportunity to see how he arrived to where he is based on what he's learned in the past, the way he's worked in the past, and his close relationship between himself and Harry.
Are you worried about him being partners with Harry, because the partner of the main cop, sometimes things don't go well?
Well,
it's like Galaxy Quest.
As it should be written on a good show, whatever happens will happen. But I'm not worried about that because.
So you have a 7-year contract.
We go as long as the show goes on for a couple of more seasons. Hopefully, we'll be all right. But I'm not worried about that.
I don't think
Do you think they're good partners?
They're good partners. They balance each other out. If not for that, Harry would probably have took out a couple of these guys already. All right. We got to reel it back. Like, come on, no, come back. You can't go that far out. And we balance each other out. All of us, actually, because Grace understands there's some things that Harry's just going to do, because we spoke about it earlier on. He really doesn't see gray. Jerry Edgar does. He understands the power of perception, and I think he helps out in that way.
What do you think as a character? Because it is somewhat ambiguous with Bosch. Like, he seems like he tries to play within the rules, play within the lines, but he seems really tempted oftentimes to stray from that. Do you feel that as well?
For Jerry Edgar?
Oh, no, for Bosch.
For Bosch. Well, I mean, Jerry Edgar, as you'll see, Harry says, might have a nose for politics, right? And Harry might not, because even though the rules are the rules, sometimes the rules are blurred. The lines are blurred, right? And he doesn't really play well in those blurred lines, People say one thing, but they really mean another, and it's like, well, do I have to really read the subtext of what you're saying just to be real with what you're saying? And I think for him, he actually wants to hear the truth, and he speaks the truth. And I understand that, sometimes you just gotta, play the game.
And I don't see him caring really at all about the lines, the boundaries. What he is driven by is solving the crime,
regardless of
bringing justice.
Absolutely.
And so the lines that are drawn become obstacles to that, and he sometimes. And so if he may happen upon it, but he's not going to make any plans based on, well, where's the line? I'm not going to be able to do that because that would be crossing the line. He will say, okay, now I've gotten to the line, let me figure out how to get over it, because I actually do need to get over it in order to solve the crime. And then that's it. And then sometimes he, and then I will be there sometimes to chastise him. Last season we were shooting one scene, we were kind of working on it, doing a little bit of tweaking to it, and I did have to say to him, I am in fact the
your
boss.
boss.
I am the boss of you.
Yeah.
Okay, just so we understand that. I can have you fired. Which he forgets sometimes. But I can get him fired, but mostly I'm there to try to keep him from getting fired, because I know he's really valuable and he's a friend. And he is invaluable that way too. If they had two kind of rogue cops together, they would just spontaneously combust.
Oh, yeah.
It would be a big mess.
You had a really great scene in the beginning of this season. We were discussing kind of the changes in the police department for women. How was that scene for you? Like, in terms of kind of the message that it is giving for, this is a very male-dominated show, but there are also these very strong women.
It was a really important scene, and I was really, really happy to have it. And I was talking to Detective Mitzi Roberts. She's one of our two main technical advisors, and she is my idol and mentor. we were talking about this and the male domination. She said the force is actually in the LAPD is almost 25% women now. So it is changing, and so I loved having another woman who's actually gone even further up, with whom I came through the ranks, but who's gotten even further up the ladder. I liked it contrasted with running into Annie's character in the parking lot, the one who really kind of messed up there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're not actually representing women really tremendously well, but then. So I think it was real important that they had that scene. I really appreciated it, and I'm hoping that we can continue to explore the relationship, because it's not only a male-dominated show; it's a very kind of locker roomy feel to the relationships between the men. It's so much fun, and they're so playful with each other. The camaraderie is great.
Mm-hmm.
Having one in every 4 of those people be women will be interesting, I think, as time goes on, to see how that changes the dynamic, if at all. Would be fun.
Yeah.
Did your consultant give you any advice or any particular story that has kind of informed how you're playing this role?
We had, or very early on, asked her about, in terms of wardrobe. They had set out these flats for me, and I said, Mitzi doesn't wear flats; she wears heels. And the wardrobe designer, the original one, he was a great guy, but it was we had this kind of back and forth. I said, well, I'm going to ask her. And so I went and saw her again and asked her, and she said, oh no, you're a woman, you're going to wear heels. You want the height.
Yeah.
You want to be more imposing, and so you want some heels. Comfortable, practical, but heels. Get the height. And then the other thing I asked, I'm just sitting at my desk all day. I don't need to have the gun, right? She said, you will always wear the gun. A male LT might not. But as a woman, you have to wear the gun all the time, so that there's never any question that you'll be in business. So she's really been extraordinarily